Hey, Nedrick here. Just hopped out the shower and I just had this thought like, hey, it'd be really cool to just to make a video for my younger self, right? Like when I was 19, 20, trying to figure out how does the stock market work? What's the best way to extract, you know, wealth, to extract money from the market to be able to sustain myself and build something for the future. What would I want to hear, right? And like I remember sitting and trying to read and look for those videos and like really see what makes sense. And they all came back to some super high level like thinking of like, oh, just have at it, make sure you're 1% better each day, things like that. And looking back on that, that is literally it. Like it is actually it. And I think I started my journey in the markets, in the stock market. Bought my first share of a company back January 2017. I was a freshman in college at that point. I had learned about the stock market through like high school business challenges and like stock market challenges, but never opened up a brokerage account until college. And I bought my first share of Netflix. I later sold it a few months later, got like 10%, and I thought I was the man, obviously. I mean, I do still own some shares of Netflix now, like future down the line purchases, not at $100 average cost, but but um but that was beyond the point, right? It was just like, hey, um this is really cool. This is the concept of thing where I can put money here and then go pick it up later and it'll be more than what it is, right? And I always kind of thought to myself like, oh, I can trade in and out the markets and be able to make a significant amount of money. Um, and the crazy part is, I'm not wrong about that. I have been able to successfully trade in and out the markets and make a ton of money. Um, it's a matter of how consistently can you keep yourself locked in. And maybe, okay, maybe I mean in a way. I took some notes here. Let me focus on the notes. Um, Basically, my original goal of going into the stock market, right, was because of one, I had a fascination with companies and earnings and like, oh wow, this person did this to create this thing. You could go watch my old YouTube videos from I don't even know when. I was like 14, 15, talking about business acquisitions. Okay, listen, I've been watching Bloomberg since I was 12, 13. Like business moves and acquisitions and the understanding of capital structure and flow has just been super interesting to me personally. And that's probably the main reason why I kind of dived into this avenue of life. But some people may take a different approach and they don't actually care all too much about the stock market, about what's derived from it, what products are created, what services are then being provided to individuals. But like I love it because I feel as though that really makes me super interconnected with what's going on in our society, right? Like what's actually causing this to happen? Oh, because people like this. People like the feeling that's derived from enjoying this product or service. People like the rewards of this product or service that's being offered through this company and such, right? Like everybody loves a dollar pizza from Costco, right? But that's not the main. Costco's not a cash flowing machine because of the dollar pizza, right? Like it's not. But it's a great wholesale business that allows tons of people to be able to just buy what they need at large size and at a decent price, right? So like that's why Costco is a huge cash flowing machine. And all the other reasons are for the latter. Um, and 2017 to 2018. I think it was that really cool like December crash in 2018 really had me sit back and like try and zoom out a bit on what's happening in the markets, like try to understand what's really going on. And I still didn't know what's going on. And the crazy part about it is there's gonna be so many moments that you're gonna say, "Oh, I get it. That's why that happened. Oh, I get it. That's why that happened." And then you're gonna keep doing it, and then that what the reasoning as to why that happened is going to continually get redefined for you. Well, that's why that happened. That's why that happened, and you're gonna come back to it again every time. You're gonna add a little game to your swing. You're gonna tweak your jump shot a little bit. It's you know what I mean. It's gonna and oh that's oh I just got to do that. I just got to do that. I just have to do that, and you're gonna continually tweak and tweak and tweak and change your positions. Right? Like oh you buy this, you sell that. Oh I'll buy it when it's this. When these two things line up, I'll sell it when it's that. And ideally, trust me, in a perfect world, that makes perfect sense, right? But there's another angle to it too. When I first started trading, I said, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on short-term gains. Cool. I'm going to make income. I'm going to find a way to make income. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to parlay that income um, into my long-term investment portfolio and such, right? And then I'll split it off like that, and then I'll keep the little bit of income. And like, there's a funnel in a way where it's like, cool. Let's say I made $1,000 within its X period of time, whatever. Cool. I'm gonna break off 400 bucks. I'm gonna put that over there for taxes. Then I'm gonna break off another 400 or so, and put that in my long term. Buy a bunch of long term, and then I'm gonna have the remaining two, and I'll just add that to my trading money, and I keep it going, right? And that structure is beautiful, really. Like I think that's actually like probably one of was what I would say and what currently is my most ideal structure um of my in the most ideal capital structure, right? And it's that it's about figuring out how to go about continuously hitting that, right? Because there's gonna be moments, there's gonna be periods where you're not treating well and you're not making that income. Then it's like, okay, well, now I need to figure out where the other side of it goes. Where does where does where does that personal liability get covered when that income's not there? Right? Do I have to go now sell my long-term assets to then recoup that money to then go take care of this liability? That's kind of like it's kind of like working forward to then try and like take like you just planted 5 trees and they may have just started sprouting a few leaves, and now you got to go dig them up to get the money back. You know what I mean? And trying to do that at the same time was super difficult for me. So what I started doing instead was I was like, you know what? Like what I try to do is try to avoid the bad money mistakes, meaning like blown up accounts. There's no reason for a blown up account. I've come to this point now where I've probably blown what 10, 12 accounts. Cool, maybe more than that. I have no idea. Um, where it's like I'm trying to outperform something, outperform myself in a way. Actually, it's like, oh, great, I made 400 yesterday. I got to make 600 today. Oh, if I can continually hit 400 every day for the next 5 days, I'll break my streak for like, you know what I mean? Like, yippity do, whatever. Like, the competition within yourself is amazing, actually. It's great. But I think you should just focus a bit more on understanding why it's happening. Like what market signals are being shown. Price movements reveal real economic shifts, and most times they're early. People that like the thing is, I could sit here and do research on 10, 15, 20, 100 companies, whatever, and say that I know a decent amount, but I can tell you right now that I don't know everything about that. There's a piece of information that somebody knows in London that I don't know here in New York. There's a piece of information that somebody knows out in Cali about NVIDIA and maybe what's going on in the valley that I have no idea about, right? And the idea is that the culmination of the truth occurs in the price. The culmination of the truth occurs in the volume as well, right? What's happening within the markets all happens and is shown to you on a price, shown to you on a graph, visibly. Blech, I mean, right? And what you should do is watch those signals, avoid mistake in a way by trying to focus on risk, control, and aversion. There's no need for you to take $1,000 account and put 600 in a specific play that's potentially going to lose you 20% by the day. That's just throwing money away. Unless that's your route. You get like, because there's individuals out there that are really good at doing those things. And they have also like really good intuition at knowing when to deal or no deal. You know what I mean? Like, and listen, all power to them, but it's also about you understanding yourself, your psyche, right? What gets you going? What puts you in a rut, right? That's another major key. Because listen, there's going to be hundreds of people that are going to tell you, "Oh, I know how to trade," or "Oh, I know how to make money in the markets or any market, crypto market, stock market, bond market, whatever market." Done. You could be trading tulips for all I care. Anything. You could take this and apply it to a business as well. The same way Peter's making money, in the same way Larry's making money, in the same way Nicole makes money, in the same whatever, whoever, any ever, whatever, may not be the exact way that you should go about making money. Meaning, you could be trading, you could be trading, high cash flowing, high dividend names that don't move all too much. They move 50 basis points in a day. You could be trading Coke and Dollar General and Philip Morris and all those guys, right? And you have something there that makes sense. And those 50 basis points is all you need to make your few $100. You're good to go. You could be trading pharma stocks like Martin Shkreli and have a deep, keen, edge towards FDA approvals and what it means for this company. What does this potential legislation mean for this company? What is the R&D budget going to provide to that company? All those things are great dandy, right? Um, and you can say you've learned from them as well, for sure. You've learned what you can do, what is not what you want to do, and what doesn't make sense to you. Like, because realistically, you can put on a trade today, profit for it tomorrow. Cool. Let's say you hit a 50% play. Great, good money. Nice. Do you understand why it worked? Do you understand why it was a good trade, why it was maybe a bad trade that ended up winning? Do you understand like what even happened? Do you even care about why it happened that way? If you don't care, then how do you expect to replicate it over and over and over again for years to come? To then be able to use this as a reoccurring in form of income. You get what I'm saying? So focus on finding it hard, making it hard for you to lose. Like locking up your risk, locking up yourself in a way that's hard to lose. And the way you do that is really by acquiring knowledge. And I ain't not gonna say knowledge is power, so I got all these books in my garage. And I'm not gonna hit you with that. But knowledge is really key. Like if you just look at my desk right now, I got the general theory of employment an interest in money. Have I finished this book? No. Have I found some good nuggets in it? For sure. Do I understand everything I'm reading? No. But guess what? I'm gonna look it up. I recently got this one too. I'm reading this one at work. We have like a work book club, but yeah. The Airbnb story. I don't know. Just got this. I should start reading on this one. That one just came in the mail. What else do I have? Anything you want. 40 lessons for a new kind of entrepreneur. This one is a reading recommendation from Umar Ashraf, probably one of the goated traders of all time. If you don't know Umar, please give him a watch. Goated. All right. He's definitely going to drop so many gems for you to continue to grow from. Another book here, Mastery by Robert Greene. You know, guy who made 48 Laws of Power, tons of other books. And this one's talking about, you know, being able, finding ways to master your craft, right? Um, and that's all good and fine and dandy, but I only really showed you about one finance super related book, which was the Keynes book of General Theory of Employment, and that's a very macro, zoomed out, you know what I mean, like approach to finance too. So that's not even like I can't directly apply that information exactly like you know like kind of exactly into the stock market, unless you're trading like you know larger products, like you find ways to express your trade via bonds and conversions and other stuff. But realistically, if you know you probably don't have access to those types of instruments in the first place. But yeah, um, another thing that I also wanted to kind of talk to you about. Mm, develop your theory, right? Like take time to flesh out what your idea is, what your trade is. Is your trade for 2 hours? Is your trade for 3 months? Is your trade for 3 years? Is your trade for 10 years? Right? And then also like understand time frames. This is something that I think I lost touch with, honestly, over the past 6 months. Really, like understand your time frames. If you're able to invest over or trade over a week, 2 weeks, cool. If you are also somebody that likes to invest and trade over 6 months, but understand your time frame. At what point does your time no longer align with with the potential return? Right? Like is it worth the hold of it? Because really patience is what creates the compounding, right? And obviously in a trade per se, maybe you're trading equities, maybe you're trading options. Again, all of this stuff is so like slightly nuanced and different depending on what product and what thing you're trying to express within the markets. But if you're trading equities now, there's no time frame on when you can own them. They don't expire worthless like options do. You know, they may go to zero effectively if a company goes bankrupt, yes. But you can buy 10 shares of Tesla, and I mean, a good bet that if you buy 10 shares of Tesla today, in 10 years, it'll probably still be there. Like, I don't really think I'm that short on Tesla, maybe. Like, yeah, I still see Tesla being a real brand, a real company, a real, you know, essence of something in 10 years, right? But I said to myself, okay, I'm gonna trade. I'm gonna learn how to trade. I'm gonna really lock in. I'm gonna do well with that. And then as I make more money, I'm gonna siphon off some and put it to my long-term holding and my long-term bag because you know Buffett, right? Like that's what he's about. You know, investing in deep value, big moat cash flowing companies, cows, I tell you, like just consistently hit them over the head, hit them over the head with a solid 8%, hit them over the head like with base hitting numbers time and time and time, right? And it really depends on where you find your win. Because you could be hitting them over the head with 4%, compounding it, going crazy, dripping your dividends back into it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can really, really lock in and still feel nothing and feel like, oh, yeah, it's making something, but like, is it really? Like, 1,000 is now 1,300. Like, okay. Like, don't get caught up in that. Allow yourself time. And trust me, you don't want to hear, I know you don't want to hear that. Time, yeah, time. Time's not gonna pay my bills next month. I get it. But really, if that's the case, then find a way to really build a life that can supplement one another, right? Like, I think what I kind of was able to do was I had this interest in finance, I had this interest in stocks and so on. And I found a way to kind of pivot myself to be close enough, to be like close enough to finance where I get an understanding in business. I understand how things operate, capital, how capital moves, how it, gets qualified, um, terms of businesses and so on by being adjacent, like so adjacent to with my work that now I'm also learning on how to become a better capital allocator, right? Like I'm understanding that these things that are occurring in our day-to-day life as true in everyday businesses, how they trickle in effect into these larger companies, and what they may be dealing with at a grander scale, right? Um, and then once you've done that, and you've done it for a lot of times, you've been able to compound, you've been able to put some to the side and continuously do so, right? Even if it's 50 bucks, 100 bucks, whatever that number is, the point is don't stop. Interrupting the compounding will hurt. And yes, life events happen where you have to maybe put a pause on a deposit this week or a pause on, and that's fine. I'm not saying like you can't pause. Like I think I think you should pause in some cases, right? Like you may be in some deep waters in another way. And if you don't pause this, you can't get out of that. So then that's going to end up seeping into your investments and seeping into your thought process and your understanding. And you're saying, well, hey, shoot, I need to make that thousand back because I got this bill coming in the first of the month and I don't know how I'm going to make rent. So I need to trade that. That's the best way to lose $1,000. I promise you, that is the best way to lose $1,000. Because at least with that, you have some hope. You know what I mean? As opposed to gambling it away or doing something stupid with it for real, for real. Ah, boy, oh boy. Um, and then also like have some conviction, right? Have and then but also show adaptability within that conviction. Be able to stop and change on a dime if you feel you're wrong, if you know you're wrong, if you understand that you're wrong. It's okay to be wrong. That's the thing. A lot of people they don't want to sell out a position because they're wrong. And I'm gonna lose it, and realizing the loss is gonna hurt more than like it's not. Realizing the loss does not matter because you're gonna make it back if you stick to it. Really, you're gonna make it back. But I understand your convictions sometimes, and like lean into it, like really lean into it. Back in 2019, I used to work for Best Buy, right? And while I was at Best Buy, quick story, they came to us in one of our training videos. I was a customer service rep guy, accepting returns, doing online delivery, doing online pickup orders when people come to the store and stuff, and then also checkout, stuff like that. Cool. But when I was at customer service, they said, "Hey, we want to let you know," like the Geek Squad team and some of the managers came in. They're like, "Hey, we want to let you know that like." Now that if anybody comes to return in anything with with lithium ion batteries in them, we have to take it out and put it into the separate container and do it. And at first I thought, okay, maybe it's just like a risk thing. Like maybe the batteries explode. Like like they can't. Like the same reason why we can't take these super big batteries on airplanes, right? Like they explode and stuff, fire hazard, rah rah, right? Cool. But then like I'm like, all right. But then like a month after that, I saw I saw like one of our like little training videos come by and it said Apple um was asking for people when they returned in their or asking people to like actively to turn in their phone batteries because not just the batteries, but their phones to use their batteries, right? To then you know, recycle the cathodes and the different internal parts of the battery workings to then be able to, reuse it, right? I'm like, oh wow, that's sick, Apple. Like, good work. Like, you know what I mean? And then like this, then I'm also like, wait, and Tesla too. Like, Tesla probably needs like batteries, right? Like they need lithium for their batteries. Like, oh, is there a shortage? Something maybe here, something's cooking, right? Like something may be here. And I later found out that Apple really was trying to do that, not really because there's a lithium shortage, but because they were trying to find ways to prove and have enough, substance to say that they're carbon neutral, that they're taking back in these devices, repurposing them, and then producing new devices for us for the future. And yes, Apple, great jobs. You know what I mean? Cool. But I initially took it as, oh, there's a shortage. Maybe they're competing with Tesla, and Tesla's taking too much lithium out the earth, and they can't do it. And in this case, both of those possibilities could be correct, but only one was correct. And I said, all right, well, let me see. Go ahead, look it up. Go and I check and see something. I'm like, all right, do we have ETFs for this? Like, what does this look like? And I ran across LIT, LIT, lithium Global X Lithium Battery Tech ETF. And and I also would like to asterisk this conversation with like, hey, this came during the time like 2019 into 2020, where we saw like a crazy, obviously post the COVID crash, March, April, May-ish, into the stimulus that injected the economy into boom. You know what I mean? Like pretty much any and everything was boom. But this is probably one of my first like great trades that I put these two pieces together, thought I was doing something, and like, oh wow, and I actually did it. And I bought lithium LIT at like 25, $27, 30-ish. And I bought some call options as well for like 6 months out. And that thing went absolute bonkers, man. Like it went like at least what? Let me see here. So within that time period, let's say, yeah, the stock itself went up 120% in about a year. And the options I had probably within that 6 month period, you can imagine. I think I probably did like 700 or 900% on those options. And I'm saying to myself, like, oh my gosh, what the heck did I just do? Did I just like strike lightning? Can I recreate this? Like, what happens? Right? And I learned not in that moment, but maybe even just last week, but forcing yourself to recreate those moments of not 100% and all that only causes stress. So the whole idea is to stay alive, keep hitting base hits, grab your 10%, grab your fives, grab your 20s, grab your 30s when they're there, but then also understand when your 1000% are there, right? And you really will only begin to learn that through experience, right? Aim for the fences, continue to protect your risk, always focus on asymmetric risk. Always focus on asymmetric risk. And really what the king of that one is Druckenmiller and Soros. They'll tell you about asymmetric risk. Size up your bets when your conviction is there. I think at that point at Best Buy, I probably only had a few grand really cash to be able to play with, but that was an insane move for me. It was a confirming thing, right? Where it's like you stay up all night trying to figure out what's going on. It's not the major breakthrough that's going to retire you, no, but it's the breakthrough to make you really, really lean into something to be like, oh shit, well, wait a second, I could really do something with this, right? Um, Take your time, journal about things, write down how you feel, write down, what you did, write down what you did wrong. Keep it real with yourself and keep shooting. That's pretty much it. Peace.